Maybe I should have
Nope,
just said
he's
fuck
back.
it.
3-year-olds fucking suck. Just wanted to make sure that was recorded when
Yes.
I said that 3-year-olds fucking suck. Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddie Grace Webben.
Today we will be talking about part 1 of DanganRonpa, Trigger Happy Havoc for the PlayStation Portable and PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 4 and PC and now iOS, which is real cool. That came out like a week ago, and so
Perfect timing.
Maddie and Eli are playing the mobile version, which we will probably have words about because this game has a weird control scheme, and it's kind of perfect for and impossible to play on mobile at the same time, which is kind of cool. But before we get into all that shit, how was your week, everybody?
I don't think anything really important happened, honestly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure nothing happened. Other than I didn't play DanganRonpa in time.
Yeah. It's okay. This is the beefiest week because we had to do the whole prologue too. So the rest of the week will just be basically what you played after work today. So
Yeah.
not terrible.
You get a little plot, you get someone dies, and then you do the rest of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I did this week was also not a whole lot. Maybe I did some things earlier in the week. I don't freaking know. But on Friday, the local drive-in movie theater, which I think I've mentioned before is a wonderfully fun thing to do, was showing a double feature of The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. So me and my friend, while being appropriately distanced online, all that kind of stuff, we beforehand watched Batman Begins first because we hadn't seen it in a million years, and then we went to we had a triple feature day. Hot take, Batman Begins. Actually, I was kind of in a weird headspace and couldn't focus on Batman Begins a whole lot. I mean, it's a good movie, but I don't really have any new insights for it. Dark Knight just 100% holds up. I was shocked at the degree to which it holds up. Every single scene in it is perfect and iconic. It has the best pacing you've ever seen in a goddamn movie. It's just a phenomenally put together thing. It fucking moves. It's got a slow, steady, heavy pace. And every single scene, when it started, I was like, oh, I fucking love this scene. Which is how you know you've got a great movie. I also, I don't have any new insights, really, because I've already spent so much time thinking about the movie, right? The Joker's monologues about shit are still right, even when you're now a hyper-Marxist. Actually, way more so. Then we saw Dark Knight Rises. My hot take about that, it's a very complicated movie. It's a very, very complicated movie thematically, in terms of just sheer plot and character and motifs. And frankly, I kind of want to watch it again. I don't have a solid read on it, though I think it rules. And I have some thoughts about it that I won't share, obviously, because this is not DC Movie Club. But yeah, just if you feel like watching those movies again and are wondering if it's a good use of your time, yeah, they're fucking great movies. That's it.
Nice. The one important thing that happened this week, which I think might have actually happened last week, but we were doing a movie night instead of talking about our weeks last week, is our baby boy got married, guys.
Yes.
Our baby boy is all grown up and got married.
Yep.
Matt and Becca finally.
Oh, that baby boy. I was like, wait, who?
When was that? What? Well, yeah, time has no meaning anymore. But yes, definitely sometime in the last 2 weeks, Matt and Becca got married. And it's fucking awesome. We've only gotten one picture so far, which is bullshit.
They've been on, so for their honeymoon, they've been in, they rented a cabin and brought a GameCube, and they've been playing Skies of Arcadia together, which is probably the best way to have a honeymoon.
Yeah, that whips.
It was on the 5th when they got married, and it is the 14th now. So it was a little over a week ago. But yeah, congrats
ultra
to
mega
Matt.
Congratulations to y'all.
And then today, Cerebral Wind / Ancient Omega, he proposed to his significant other and got engaged today.
Which
so
is
the whole
also
Discord's getting hitched.
Yep.
Yeah. If you want to find love, you should come to the Discord because everyone on the Discord is getting married.
Hell yeah!
But
I was going to say
the other
something else, but I
important thing
decided
that
not to
happened
actually.
this
So
week. Yeah, the other important thing that happened this week is I am moving away from Austin, Texas. I'm going to live up in Madison, Wisconsin, real close to our baby boy Matt. He needs some parental guidance, so I need to move in with him. No, but we like the cold, and we don't get the cold in Texas. And also, a 3-bedroom apartment only costs $890 a month.
Christ.
So,
fuck it, I'm moving.
There's a high. Right, there's a high chance that I can keep my current job and just work that remotely, which would be amazing. And so that will probably happen. Even if it doesn't, our current apartment is jacking up our rent by $200 a month. So there's no way in damn hell we could afford to stay. So might as well just, even if I don't have a job, just take the plunge, use our COVID bucks to move, and fucking work at a Dairy Queen or something until I get a real job or whatever it takes. But
I mean,
get the fuck out of here where it gets somewhere cheap.
Rent, you'll be fine.
Yeah. So that's happening. And I need everybody's big dick energy because the perfect apartment that we really, really want, when we applied, they're like, oh, we just gave that unit out. But if the people don't sign their lease by Monday, it's back on the market, so you guys will be next in line. That Monday is tomorrow. So only Maddie and Eli's big dick energy will be applicable because you guys definitely won't be hearing this by tomorrow. But
actually,
I'm hoping that we get that one.
I also have a big dick energy request. I have a job interview
go for
tomorrow.
It. Hell yeah!
So, I need luck in 2 ways. 1, I want to get the job. 2, there's certain details of the job that I don't really know. For example, I'm not sure if it's a temporary job or not. You think I should know that already, but it's through like an agency. So the person who this is my first time actually talking with the actual company.
People.
So they have made it clear that's because they're really trying to fast track this thing, which is why I'm just now talking to them. But it is in fact a final interview. Anyway, whether it's a temporary job or whether it's not temporary, and if it is temporary, how long is going to be a big factor in whether or not I, take it. Because that's a big deal with planning your life and shit. Also, whether it is full-time. I'm pretty sure it's full-time. Because like if it was part-time, I could take it, no problem. I would just take it in addition to my other job. Anyway, so there's a lot of facts that I'm hoping go the way I want them. And also I hope that I get it. So yeah, wish me luck on that one as well.
Yeah, the other important thing, and this one's crucially important, is I hit level 30 in Final Fantasy XIV, so they gave me an extra 15 days of game time. So there's a chance that I will beat... Yeah, they give you 2 weeks of game time for hitting level 30 if you do it during your first 30 days. They're just like, hey, good on you. Here's 15 more days. Isn't it? That's fucking cool.
That's even more reason for me to wait until I have a really good life moment to start. That way I can make sure I do that. Cool.
Yeah. But then so because of that, there's a high chance that I won't have had to pay for A Realm Reborn at all. If I finish that in that chunk of time, then I'll be set. I bought Shadowbringers, and I guarantee you I will not beat 4 fucking MMOs in the next 27 days. But I might beat 1, and that's pretty cool. But
that was the thing I did. I beat Shadowbringers on my second character.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that I have Shadowbringers, the attract mode is the Shadowbringers opening, and I have no idea who any of these characters are, but it is the coolest fucking Final Fantasy video I've ever seen in my entire goddamn life.
It's the absolute best expansion that they've put out. It's so fucking good. Like
the attract mode is your character stand-in person from all of the marketing from A Realm Reborn is like changing jobs like mid swing of his sword and kicking ass on this demony thing or something, and he's just like, oh, I'm an archer now, so take a arrow to the face. Well, now I have a fucking lance and I look like Cecil, so I'm going to lance you in the face. Oh, and now I look like lightning and I have fucking daggers and I'm going to dagger you in the face. And it's just like constantly changing and super fucking badass. It's really fucking good. I highly recommend.
Let you do that.
Yeah.
I wish you could just change your class while you're in the middle of a dungeon. Just like, okay, well now I feel like.
Didn't you hear they're adding the dress sphere system?
Oh God.
I can't wait for that stupid ass gimmick we're about to talk about. Which, if you have played that game, you now know what our gimmick is. But whatever, I don't give a shit. It's foreshadowing. That's all it is. But yeah, it's Shadowbringers already looks hype, and I won't be touching it for the next probably 6 months. But
yeah.
It looks great. I'm excited to get around to it.
I'm going to be a good boy and not give you any spoilers, as much as I'd love to talk about it with you.
Yeah, because I am actually trying to play it like a single-player RPG as much as I can. So much so that, like, I'm thinking about multi-classing, not because I care about the classes, but there's times where it's like, oh, why don't you go make friends or talk to somebody else so that you can get this item since you're not a healer? I'm like, well, I'll go become a healer, get myself that item, and then continue on and not have to talk to anybody. Because I don't want to fucking talk to other people. But we'll see how it goes. I do enjoy all of the multiplayer things I've had to do, which says a lot, because I don't like playing games with other people. I can't trust them.
Everybody in the Final Fantasy community, well, not everybody, but most people in the Final Fantasy community are way more forgiving and understanding than people in the WoW community. Like, yeah. Rage quits are very, very rare.
Yeah. It's great. The only time I got kicked is from anything is because right as my dungeon popped, I got a phone call that I had to answer, and so I was just like, well, sorry guys, I just bye, I guess, and I got kicked by the time I came back. But of course I should have been, because I was AFK. And other than that, it's been great. I love the game. Highly recommend it. If you like MMOs at all, it's probably the best one. Like, I think I can fairly come out and say, of the traditional like MMO experience, it's the best one, and it's real dope. And I think that if you like MMOs at all, you'll like it. And if you like Final Fantasy games, you'll probably like it too. So that's my pitch. But
it's come a long way since 1.0. There's a really good video series. Last thing I'll say about it, there's a really good video series called The Fall and Rise of Final Fantasy XIV. Highly recommend watching it at some point so you can see what a fucking train wreck 1.0 was.
Yeah. But speaking of pitches, let's talk about 1,000 pitches and listen to the. I think I'm going to put the dumbass Monokuma theme right here, because
that's a great one. Yeah,
it's a good enough theme, but it has a really bad opening bar, and DanganRonpa has the problem that Final Fantasy IX Remastered has, where it restarts songs like all the time. And so if you play the stupid Monokuma coin minigame, you just hear the opening 6 notes of the Monokuma theme over and over again, and it has spoiled the song for me. But other than that, it's a great track, so we'll listen to that one first.
just said the word Monokuma, we'll learn who that is. I'll give you a hint, he's the villain of this damn game. So, Danganronpa. Instead of explaining what kind of game it is, honestly, you'll know what kind of game it is by the end of this damn episode. So, all I will say, that it's a VN. So,
yes.
The game starts, the full name of the game is DanganRonpa, Trigger Happy Havoc, which is kind of a dumb subtitle, but whatever. The
subtitle means basically nothing.
Yeah, the later subtitles, actually, games have great subtitles that mean things, but no one calls this one by its subtitle. So anyway, we start with a hype video that TBH makes no sense, and that's not even a joke. I've played the game, and I don't get it. There's a tiny, scary bear, and he puts a character I don't recognize in a big rocket and kills them. I think it's just a hype video. I don't know. Unless there's a twist later that I forgot. Anyway, it's really scary and cool. But then the game starts proper. The game starts off with some background. The narrator tells us that there's a special school called Hope's Peak Academy. It's ultra mega prestigious. The kids only get to go by invitation. Standing there at the gate with all the most brilliant teenagers in Japan. Well, they're actually not with them. Anyway, it's the most normal boy in the world. Our narrator, Makoto Naegi. He has no defining features or strengths, though he admits to being, quote, a little more gung-ho than most people, which I relate to. How is he here? Well, most kids who get invited here are ultimates, aka they're the best kid ever at one specific thing. There's the ultimate pop sensation, the ultimate baseball star, etc. Fun fact, in the Japanese, the term they use is super high school level, so it'd be like super high school level pop sensation, super high school level baseball star, which I think is very funny. Because the game was pretty popular in Japan, or because the game had a pretty popular cult following in the West before it officially came out, it was many, many years. There was a big gap between its original release and localization. A lot of old school fans will call it they'll say SHSL instead of saying Ultimate. Anyway, I think it's a funny little phrase. So anyway, what of Makoto? What's his deal? Turns out he's the ultimate lucky student. He's the ultimate lucky student because he got picked in a random lottery. Well, that's it. He's scared because he's thrown to the wolves. But he knows that graduating Hope's Peak means you're guaranteed success in life, so he's doing it quite bravely. He enters the school. He arrives at the entrance hall. He's about 40 minutes before the start of the ceremony, and he doesn't see anyone else here, so he figures, you know what? I'll just look around. I probably won't get in trouble. All of a sudden, his vision goes all spinny, and he passes out. That's right. We haven't established the situation for more than 5 seconds before it's already gone to shit. We don't even know what was supposed to happen. So he wakes up. He's now in a classroom. Everything looks weird. There's mysterious music, so we know something wrong is happening. There's a note mentioning the new kid starting today. There's also security cameras and TVs in every room, and the windows have giant metal plates bolted on, so you can't see outside. Something really bad has clearly happened. You leave, and you go to the main hall for the entrance ceremony, like you were going to before, and all the lighting is weird and creepy. That could be on purpose and diegetic. Also, the game just kind of has weird lighting, so it could just be that. Everybody else is already at the entrance hall. They're all new students just like you. There's 15 of them, counting Makoto. Turns out the weird blackout thing, where you came in and your vision went blurry and you blacked out, happened to everyone. Everyone's confused and angry, but they all decide to introduce themselves. Oh, also, what was formerly a big, grandiose double doors entrance to the school is now a giant fucking nuclear vault-ass metal circular impenetrable door.
Yes.
That thing ain't opening. So let's introduce the characters. One thing
real quick before we introduce them. I want to drive home that if you play Persona 3, 4, or 5 and you're like, wow, this is one stylish ass game, I wish more games were like this, you should play Danganronpa. Just for like the way it's presented is so fucking stylish. It is so like Persona-y. Like it's good.
It looks like if
Persona
nice. Was it's like if the style it's like if a 9-year-old, an edgy 9-year-old was imitating Persona. I mean that in a good way.
In a good way.
It's a very wild, anarchic kind of style. I was talking in the chat about how it's very crass. Anyway, yeah, it's got a really weird visuals. So anyway, you start learning about all the characters, and where's the best place to do that? Here we go. So I'll just go through them. First, we meet this guy named Kiyotaka Ishibaru. We're going to be calling him Taka for short, because that's what the game does. Taka is great. He's the ultimate moral compass. He's a teacher's pet. Sam's sighing a lot. I really like Taka. He's a cutie. He just loves to follow the rules. He loves to work hard and try his best and be bold. So he's like a
crazy widow's peak and massive eyebrows.
Yes, he looks fucking weird. So he's a total. He might as well be like ultimate.
He looks like a
teacher's
Vegeta
pet,
that's a Gohan on the inside.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So that's Taka. Then we meet.
Love Taka.
We meet Toko Fukawa. She is the ultimate writing prodigy. She's FYI, she's a fan favorite, although don't look up anything about this game. Obviously, it's a murder game. Lots of people are gonna die. You don't want to get spoiled, but she is a fan favorite. She's a fan fiction writer. And she's had her she writes fan fictions, and I'm pretty sure she writes erotica. She
writes like super romantic erotica, like for girls ass, like trashy romance books, but she also hates men with a passion. And those, like, Makoto knows about like her work and everything. Is like, oh, she's probably like this super sweet, feels a lot sort of person, and she's just an asshole and hates everyone. It's great.
She's a
she
huge
keeps
bitch.
saying how everyone thinks she's ugly.
Yeah, she's doing a lot of projection. She obviously hates herself, and she projects that onto everyone else, and then hates everybody else. Right? Toko's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Then we meet Sayaka. Sayaka Paisano. No, I'm just kidding. It's Sayaka Maizano. She's the ultimate pop sensation. She's the leader of an idol group, right? And it's a really famous idol group, even though she's like only 17 or whatever. And wow, how impressive is that, right? She's very upbeat, very chipper, very charismatic. She's an idol. She's very charismatic. Everyone falls in love with her immediately. Then we meet Leon Kuwata. He's the ultimate baseball star. He's just he's got a punk kind of vibe. He's got like long hair, a weird braided beard, wears
lots of
like
piercings,
wears punk ass clothes. He's got like a skater vibe. He's not as like a clean cut, respectable person like you'd think you would get from a baseball player, or at least that's what Makoto would have expected. That's it with him. Next we get Hifumi Yamada. Hifumi Yamada.
Oh my god, Hifumi.
I'm sorry, I was getting mistaken earlier. I said Toko wrote fanfic. I'm silly. Toko is just a writer, but Hifumi is the ultimate fanfic creator, which I'm pretty sure that's implied that he draws. What do you call like
doujinshi?
Doujinshi, yeah. Doujinshi.
Yeah, because he talks about liking 2D art.
Yeah,
more than
so
3D.
Hifumi is just the ultimate weeb, basically, or not weeb. He's Japanese, but he's just the ultimate otaku.
He's an otaku.
He loves manga. He loves video games.
His mouth
he's
is the colon-3 mouth.
He's a huge
he's
fucking
got the cat
perv,
mouth.
and he's disgusting, and I hate him. I know he's a stereotype of a disgusting nerd, and it's kind of an offensive, possibly like cruel stereotype, but like, whatever. I hate him specifically. But anyway, yeah. Then you meet, how do you pronounce this one? Aoi Asahina. She's
means blue.
She's wonderful. I absolutely adore Aoi Asahina. Everyone just calls her Hina. She's the ultimate swimming pro. She's an absolute bimbo, and I love her.
And she's my girlfriend.
She's got real big honkers. She's real dumb, but in the classic tradition of people who are real dumb, she's sometimes real smart. And she's just a really good person, and I love her. Anyway, next we meet, speaking of my wife, we meet my other wife, Chihiro. Chihiro Fujisaki. She is amazing. She's the ultimate programmer. She's a computer programmer. She's made all kinds of famous programs. And she's got like a nerdy cat girl thing going on. And she's the best. She's very soft-spoken. Has a little bit of low self-esteem, but not in the way that she takes it out on others, like Toko. That's Chihiro. Next we meet Kyoko. Kyoko Kirigiri is the ultimate who knows. She doesn't tell you what she is, and if when you ask her, she's like, fuck off. She's cool. Next is Junko Inoshima. She's the ultimate fashionista. Means she's a model, right? She's a really hot model. Not a whole lot about her. She becomes, of course we'll learn more about all these characters later, but for now she dresses eccentrically. She's also got a big personality, kind of bitchy, but not in as mean of a way. Kind of like a mean girl, like from Mean Girls, right? Next we meet Mondo Owada. He's the ultimate biker gang leader. He's the head of a biker gang, but he's also the I forget how it's explained, but he's basically the not the de facto leader, but he's the spiritual leader of every biker gang in the entire country.
Yes.
So every biker gang is like, oh yeah, Mondo's our ultimate leader, right? He's
got ugly ass corncob hair.
A lot.
Yeah, he looks like someone gently placed a cob of grilled corn on his head.
Yeah, he's wonderful. He fucking whips. Next we meet, I know there's a lot of these people. We meet Sakura. Sakura Ogami. She's really cool. She's enormous. She's fucking giant, like 7.5 feet tall, stupendously ripped. She's a goddamn, she's a bodybuilder, right?
Yeah,
there's
she looks
an
like
interesting thing.
What's his face from Street Fighter that she looks so much like?
Oh yeah, that guy. I forget his name too, but yes.
Yeah, can't remember his name right now. But
there's a few lines in this episode about how people are saying like, "Oh, is she really a girl? Is she a guy?" I'll just go ahead and spoil it. No, she's well. First of all, she's not a guy. But second of
Blanca?
all, she would not be incorrectly mistaken for a guy because she's not even trans. So
she looks kind of like Blanca.
Anyway, that is.
She does kind of look like Blanca, but I'm thinking of somebody else. But yeah,
okay, fine.
She is a girl, and she is beautiful, and she is a biological girl.
Yeah, she's
There's
a
not anything weird going on.
Exactly.
I saw her and I immediately was like, uh-oh.
Yeah. I was like, oh. Although that is an interesting example of how trans misogyny and also just transphobia in general also literally does hurt cis people, because guess what? Sometimes cis people don't also, for whatever reason, don't necessarily fit certain looks or even certain hormone levels. I'm sure we've heard about cis girls getting banned from women's sports because of stupid hormone rules. Anyway, so look, it hurts everybody.
Often women of color.
Yeah, especially, which I won't get into because it's too complicated.
It is.
Next we meet Byakuya Togami. He's the ultimate affluent progeny. His literal thing is that he's rich. He's the ultimate has rich parents.
Rich kid.
He's also a total jerk. He's very elitist. We don't learn much about him. He's pretty cool. Next we meet Yasuhiro Hagakure, or Hiro for short. He's the ultimate clairvoyant. He's psychic. Yeah, sigh indeed. He's a he's just super woo. He's Marianne Williamson. He believes anything anyone tells him. He's pretty funny though. I like him. He's very nice. He's just
my
like
favorite
ultimate
part
chill vibes.
He's Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Yes. Celeste. There's this character named Celestia Ludenberg. Everyone just calls her Celeste the entire game. She's the ultimate gambler. Also, she says she's Japanese, but she definitely seems, think about her name, sounds like she's like German or something. And also, she's a goth loli. So, okay, she likes to gamble. Not much going on there. She's pretty cool. Next. Oh, that's it. That's all of them. That's all the characters. And then, of course, our boy, Makoto. Let me go back to my notes. So, after you meet all the characters, there's an announcement over the intercom. Greetings, students. Please go to the gym for an opening ceremony. It's a very, very high-pitched, very chipper voice. Kind of like if you play Persona 4, Teddy from Persona 4, kind of. Or Gaspard from Dot Hack to You. I know, it's the same voice actor. Anyway, the kiddos think to themselves, maybe this is all some kind of weird-ass prank for the new kids. Whatever, I guess let's go. They're all really nervous, but trying to keep it positive. They get to the gym, and the strangest sight appears. A fucking talking stuffed bear? It's Monokuma! He says, I'm the headmaster. Everyone hollers a bit. He makes bear puns. You know the drill. Then he drops the bomb. A, he's the villain. B, y'all bitches trapped in here forever. The teens are like, what about food and shelter? Mono's like, you have infinite food. There's private quarters for each student. There's a gym, and the school's filled with plenty of fun activities to do. The teens are like, damn, that sounds great. Real life is hard. And they just stay there for the rest of their lives. And they never have to bother with stuff like economic precarity, or police violence, or climate change. The end. No, JK, they're all very upset about this. Monokuma says there is one way you can leave. You gotta kill somebody. They all lose their bonkers. Mondo, if we recall, he's the biker gang guy who likes to cuss. He grabs Monokuma and is going to beat the shit out of him. But Monokuma says, no, don't do that. And then he starts beeping like a time bomb. So Mondo throws him, and yep, it blows up. Then another Monokuma appears. He says there's tons of backup. This is a remote-controlled bear. Obviously, there's tons of them. Monokuma then says, okay, rule number 1, if anyone ever fucking attacks me, I will goddamn murder you. He gives everybody an e-handbook. It's a little tablet. It's got personal info on it, it's indestructible, and it contains the rules. The rules are very important. He says some more dumb shit and then leaves. Monokuma's thing, here's the thing. Monokuma is a very evil, scary villain. He's also insufferable, in a way that is very funny. So he always makes, because he can kill them any time, right? So he makes these characters listen to him drone on and on about bullshit and his dumb jokes, and they all fucking hate it. So eventually he leaves. The characters contemplate their situation. Some reject it, saying it must be a trick or a dream. Others react in anger, some despair. They all seem to deep down realize the truth and the horror. Live here forever or kill. Well, that's the prologue. On to chapter 1. Kyoko, who we learned today is pretty fucking cool, snaps everyone out of their stupor. Everyone else is like, oh my god, what do we do? Oh my god, what? She's like, well, let's get to work. Let's find a way out of this, you bitches. We gotta investigate the school. We gotta find out what's going on. We gotta find out how to fight Monokuma and get out of here. Oh, you know what? Let's check the regulations first. So, they check the school regulations, and I want y'all listeners to pay attention to these because they're very important going forward. 1, you can't leave the school. This is against the rules to leave the school, but it's also impossible anyway. 2, nighttime is from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Some areas are off limits at night. 3, you must sleep in the dormitory. 4, no violence against the headmaster or security cameras. 5, you can explore the school freely, other than those rules we just mentioned. 6, if you kill someone, you become blackened, and you'll be allowed to graduate, which means leave, unless you're discovered. 7, additional rules may be added later. Everyone realizes 2 things. 1, obviously nobody wants to kill nobody. That's insane. But 2, they all really want to leave for general human reasons and their own specific reasons. So even though all of them feel like they don't want to kill anybody, they also all know that maybe somebody else will try to kill them. So they're struggling with these 2 opposing forces, and it's stressful. I just realized I gotta put my phone on Do Not Disturb mode. So Byakuya and Mondo get in a fight because Byakuya is a motherfucker. Makoto, remember Byakuya's the rich asshole guy. He gets in a fight with Mondo. Makoto, that's her main character, tries to stop them, and Mondo punches him out. Lol. Another blackout. Makoto then wakes up in his dorm room. There's a few more pieces of info I gotta tell you. They set up a lot of stuff here because it all ends up becoming important later. Fun fact. Everything that's established in the prologue, all the pieces of information we learn in the prologue, may or may not be important. They also may or may not be important to the overall plot of the game that gradually becomes revealed. But as soon as a chapter starts, even when it seems like nothing important's happening yet, as soon as it says Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, it's off to the races as far as clues go. Every single thing mentioned in a chapter is definitely fair game for what happens later in the chapter. So, pay attention to the stuff even that doesn't seem like mysterious. So, a few important pieces of info. Every room's lock is 100% impenetrable. Also, we learned this later, but every room is soundproof. Every room has a bathroom. The girls' restrooms have locks. The boys' don't. Monokuma is really into gendered stuff. It's an interesting aspect of his character. It's kind of also just the game being heteronormative, but also Monokuma is specifically. Every boy gets a toolkit on their desk. Every girl gets a sewing kit. These are implied to be for killing, not for handiwork. There's also some other stuff that I'll mention later when it's relevant. Makoto rushes out of the room to join the others, but she runs into Sayaka. She says, I was worried about you, blah, 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 let's go to the dining hall. So then you explore the school. A few areas of the school I want to mention. First, there's Hotel Despair. That's the part of the school where everyone lives. There's a bunch of rooms for every student, and they all have nameplates. There's also a cafeteria, or a dining hall. There's also a trash room. There's also I should have written this down. I think that's it. Elsewhere,
there's a laundry room and a swimming room that we can't go to yet.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I was leaving out rooms you couldn't go to. Now, if you leave that part of the school, you get into the other wing of the school. There's 2 classrooms. There's an audio-visual room, which you can go into here, though it doesn't become important until later. There is a gym. There is an entrance hall. And I think that is it. And then there's the important room where you can play a little, not really a mini game, but there's a room where you can play a slot machine that I'll tell you about in a second. So that's the layout. I got to set all this stuff up because it's a mystery, right? So anyway, now at 7 p.m., everyone's congregated for a meeting except Kyoko. People are like, oh, fuck, did she get murdered? Surely not. Turns out everyone has spent the day investigating. Literally no one found anything useful at all. They literally all just say, yeah, I didn't find anything. Lots of fun little character bits here that I'm skipping. Eventually, Kyoko arrives late. Sure enough, she's the only person who's useful. She found a map of the school, and she correlated with a map of Hope's Peak's Academy, and she confirmed something important, which is, yes, they are in Hope's Peak. They weren't, kidnapped and taken somewhere else. Somehow, Hope's Peak Academy has become this horrible place. How did this happen? Where are the other students? One thing is that Celeste is like, well, let's just adapt to our lives. Here. So, then a couple of important things get established. First of all, they all decide, hey, let's, you know how we're not supposed to go to certain places at night? What if we all just agreed to not go out at night at all? We all pretty much trust each other, and we want to trust each other, so in order to continue being able to trust each other, let's just make a couple of rules, just in case, So they make a rule saying, let's nobody go, let nobody go out at night during the nighttime from 10 to 7. So you go back home and you're like, well, I'm gonna go to bed. But then Makoto realizes there's a problem with his door, his bathroom door. It's like it doesn't really open. It's like we've all had doors that don't quite fit. You got to kind of jiggle it in a specific way in order to get it open. It's not locked, but you kind of got to jiggle it. So Monokuma explains that. You go to bed, you wake up. The next day, this part notes get a little bit sketchy. I'll have to be careful here. The next day, you immediately start talking to people, and you get to explore a little and just talk to people. And then everyone has breakfast. You continue just talking to people. Shoot, please tell me if I miss anything here. Okay, so the next thing is that you meet Sayaka here. I skipped this earlier, sorry, but Sayaka reveals to the main character that they that they know each other. Turns out they all grew up in the same orphanage. No, Makoto and Sayaka went. Makoto and Sayaka went to the same school together, like the same grade school. They never talked to each other, but they kind of liked each other. He liked her because she was beautiful and charming. She liked him because she was really impressed by a time when he saved an animal or something. So it's just kind of cool.
Crane.
Huh?
It was a crane.
Yeah. There was a crane that was in a place where a crane oughtn't, and he helped it get to safety, back to nature, so it didn't get hit by a car or something. Pretty cool. Anyway, so they decide that they're going to be buddies, because, hey, it's better to know somebody here than nobody. And immediately it's clear that Makoto has a little bit of a crushy crush. Also, Sayaka is very clearly not sucking up to him. She's being very, very sweet, right? She's batting her eyes. She's saying, "Oh, it's so good to see you." And then she decides that she's his assistant and he's going to protect her. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'll protect you." I want to be the big protecty boy. So then she says that she really wants some self-defense. So they go to the gym, and there's this display case with all this stuff in it. And you decide to take a sword. Not a real sword, it's a fake sword. But you take a fake sword off of the display stand, and it's got gold, not gold plating, it's got gold coating, like gold dust sparkled all over it. Mm-hmm. So they just, noticed that that's an important thing. You continue to talk to people, nothing important happens. I will mention the school store. The school store is important, okay? So as you explore things, you get these things called Monokuma coins, okay? The only currency in the game. You use the Monokuma coins in the school store to pull a slot machine. It's got kind of some RNG. It's basically a gacha situation. When you do the gacha situation, you get all kinds of different items. When you hang out with characters, you can give them gifts to make them like you. We've played Persona. We know how it is. But because of the RNG, it can often be tough to get the ones you want. So you could hang out with characters for which you have presents they would like, or you could just be like, fuck it, I want to hang out with Chihiro, even though I don't have anything computer programming related, and just don't give them a present. It's, it's whatever. But one fun fact, you should spend all the coins you have immediately, because, you never know when you're going to hang out with someone and they want a present. So you should spend them immediately and get as many presents as you can. So anyway, you then go to the gym. Like I said, you get the sword. The sword's got the plating, and now you can protect this girl. Blah, 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 blah. They talk about their dreams and their lives, and Sayaka has a little bit of a fucking freak out, and she's like, I gotta get out of here. Fuck. She just has a mental breakdown, because why wouldn't you when you're in this crazy situation? You calm her down. This further makes Makoto have a crush and want to be the big, strong protector boy. Cool. Now, after this point, we get free time. Free time is what it sounds like. You get to hang out with people. You get 2 free time slots a day, and you get to hang out with people freely if they're available and go on little hangout dates with them. You can give them presents. Just like Persona, the more you hang out with them, the more you learn about them. You get these scenes, you progress them. However, unlike Persona, these characters are going to be dropping like flies. Remember, actually, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but yeah. So people are going to be getting murdered. You never know who's going to die first, so whatever. Maybe you hang out with someone, and then they die, and you're sad. Maybe you hang out with maybe you don't hang out with someone, and then they die before you hang out with them, so then they die with you having never learned anything about them. Whatever. You get to hang out with 2 people per day. The first person you get to hang out with is Sayaka. The game railroads you into this. You have to hang out with Sayaka. Then you go to bed. Now you get 2 actual full days of free time. You get to pick who you want to hang out with every single time, though the game does tell you to hang out with Sayaka. Again, they're kind of wanting... It's a tutorial, right? They're like, hey, hang out with Sayaka. She's the character who's being your tutorial character to help you out. It makes sense. After 2 days of free time, you wake up in the morning, and the doorbell rings. It's Kiyotaka. He barges in and hollers about believing in yourself and never giving up and supporting each other. And then he says, hey, I got a cool idea. In order to have togetherness and morale, we're going to eat breakfast together every morning. It's the breakfast meeting. And you're like, oh boy, everyone loves meetings. I can't joke about that. I'm a socialist. I love meetings.
I was going to say, they must be Unitarian Universalists. We also love meetings.
On the way, you meet Toko, who's really nervous about something. She's nervous about meeting everybody. Like maybe some person. We'll find out more about that later. At the meeting, they have some verbal spats, but eventually they get to talking clues and predictions. Clues. They got nothing. Predictions. Chihiro is curious about who's behind it. Hina says it's obviously someone sick and twisted. So Chihiro, remember she's the programmer, she says, oh, maybe it's Genocide Jack. Genocide Jack is a serial killer who's killed tons of people and been in the news recently. Maybe he's the ultimate psycho, and he put this whole thing together. One quick little thing I want to mention is that they're all talking about Genocide Jack being a he, even though this person is unknown. But Leon uses they, them when talking about Genocide Jack. And I'm like, look at you, Leon, acknowledging that we don't know Genocide Jack's gender. I love him. Hina, for her part, he's like, no one knows who they are. Hina, for her part, is like, it's already been a few days. Surely someone's going to rescue us. Aren't police investigating out there? Monokuma appears, LMAO. He says the point of police is so the bad guys can kick their asses to prove how bad they are. He says, seriously, get to the killing already. I'm bored. I'm disappointed. All y'all are working together instead of killing each other. What the fuck? Oh, wait, I missed something. You're missing a motive. So, I'm going to give you all a motive. I'm going to give you all a video showing you something very important about the outside of the school. And then you're going to want to kill people. Kyoko cuts to the chase and says, fuck you, what do you want? He says, I just want despair. And then he says that he doesn't even care if they investigate and discover the truth. Mondo says, hey, Makoto, go to the fucking AV room. So you do. Sayaka tags along. You go to a room you haven't been to yet. It's a room filled with computers, audio equipment, and a big screen. There's a cardboard box with DVDs with each person's name on it. Sayaka goes to alert the others. Makoto figures, fuck it, I'll watch mine. I'll skip past this. Basically, it's his family, and they're all smiling and happy. But then it shifts, and now his house is destroyed, and his family's nowhere to be seen. And then Monokuma's voice says, oh, what happened to your family? Well, if you want to find out, you better graduate. So then all the other characters come back while Makoto's freaking out, and they all watch their DVDs, and they all start freaking out. Except for Kyoko, who says, oh, okay, yeah, this is our motive. Someone explains the prisoner's dilemma to you because it's a VN. Everyone realizes that the whole point is to make everyone mistrustful of each other. Even if you don't want to kill anyone, you're always worried someone might kill you. They try to fight against this spiritually, but it still works. Anyway, someone says, well, what if we talk about what's in our videos? Makoto asks Sayaka what's in hers. She flips out and runs off. You go after her, and I'm not going to really talk much about it. She freaks out again. You say you're going to protect her. Monokuma shows up and makes disgusting sex jokes. Both of you go back to your rooms to get some rest. Right around nighttime, it's Sayaka again. She says, someone tried to get into my room. I'm freaking out. Makoto says, well, we'll stay over here. And she says, two people in a room together, but we're both girls. No, they're not both girls. So they switch rooms. They trade keys, and they switch rooms. And now it's nighttime. They both agree to not open their doors for anyone. Nothing happens in the nighttime. You wake up in the morning, you head to the breakfast meeting. So far, only a few people are there. Taka, Hina, Chihiro, Sakura. Then some more people showed up. Wait, where's Sayaka? Makoto rushes back to his room, and oh no, it's been ransacked. Signs of a struggle. The bathroom door is open, and she's dead. Wrapped in... Oh, wait, no, wrong murder mystery. She's not wrapped in anything. Sayaka is stabbed in the gut with a knife. Slumped against the bathroom wall, blood everywhere. Makoto blacks out, and we enter the first investigation phase. That's right, someone has died, baby. Now we start part 2 of this chapter. We start part 2, which is called Murderous Life. Every chapter has a school life and murderous life segment. So you wake up in the gym. The group confirms Sayaka is dead. Apparently, Monokuma ordered everyone to go to the gym, and Kyoko made sure everyone did it. She's like, look, we gotta obey Monokuma's orders right now. Please, nobody else get killed. Everyone's got a lot of emotions, but Monokuma shows up and says, well, one of you killed her. Now time for the next step. Now the killer has to get away with it. What does that mean? Well, in a few hours, we're going to have a trial, try to figure out who did it, and we're going to take a vote. Good luck, bitches. One person doesn't accept this. Junko Inoshima, the ultimate fashionista. She, again, freaks out. Pretty common to crack psychologically here. She loses her shit and says, no, I refuse to play along with this bullshit. I'm not going to do it. This is stupid. So she attacks Monokuma. Monokuma snaps his fingers, and she immediately gets impaled by a bunch of spears and dies.
Yep.
Everyone sees it happen right in front of them. She's totally impaled, blood everywhere. He says, let that be a lesson to you. Get the fuck on with it. Also, by the way, here's the Monokuma file. This is basically an autopsy report. You're a high school kid. You don't have the resources or knowledge to figure out how to do forensics. So here's the Monokuma report, which will tell you the exact time and cause of death, plus maybe other important stuff. So he's just like, I'll give you a freebie. Most of the party is still freaking out, but there are a few cool heads. Byakuya and Celeste and Taka keep relatively chill. Kyoko, again, is instantly in fix the problem mode. They convince everyone the only way to fix through this is just to do it. We gotta push through it. We're all stunned, we're all horrified, but we gotta fucking do this. They realize they need to secure the crime scene, so Mondo and Sakura both volunteer to do it as a team, which makes sense, because either of them could have done it. Investigation begins. So here I'm going to go really nonlinear. I'm just going to list important clues as well as important conversations or timeline info all in a lump, and then we'll see how it all shakes out. Time of death, 1:30 a.m. Location, Makoto's bedroom. Oops, now a whole lot of people suspect that Makoto did it because she died in his room. Whoops. Cause of death, stab wound to the abdomen. Also, her right wrist is fractured. Someone says, wait, also someone could have cleaned up the crime before it was discovered. Isn't there a trash room? So here's the clues. In Makoto's room, Makoto's key is on the ground. Everyone has an engraved key. Oh yeah, they switched keys earlier, by the way. So the clue is the switching rooms concept. Next clue, replica sword. It's unsheathed, and a lot of the gold coating has come off the blade and handle. Sheath, it's got lots of scratches on it. Evidence of struggle. There's big scratches all over the floor and the walls and the bed. Toolkit. The toolkit from the desk, you know? Every boy in the game has one, but no one has even touched theirs. This one's untouched. Why would it being untouched be a clue? Well, whatever. Makoto's room is clean as fuck. Kyoko notices this. There's not a single hair anywhere in the room. Also, I didn't say this earlier, but there's a lint roller. The lint roller has clearly been used. Bathroom. Sayaka's wrists. On her right hand, Sayaka has a broken wrist and some gold sparkles on her wrist. Her left index finger has a bit of blood on it, but nowhere else. Oh, also, there's blood everywhere, but not anywhere else on her hand. On the wall, behind her, there's some bloody writing. The numbers 11037. Just so we're clear here, we were all 100% clear what was going on immediately, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I looked at that and I'm like, those aren't numbers.
So, okay. So here's
it also
the thing.
helped,
So also,
they did...
Oh, go ahead, Eli.
No, it's okay. I was going to say they did that same thing in Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies in the very first chapter.
Oh, really?
That's funny.
Yeah.
That this clue works a whole lot better in the Japanese because it's a different fucking language. But here, where we speak the language that she's writing on the wall, it's really fucking obvious.
So
it's not numbers.
She very clearly wrote Leon on the wall, upside down. But the diagonal line between the two straight lines of the N is very, very faded. She just didn't do a good job writing it. So that's why it looks like it says 11037. So Leon fucking did it. Here's the thing. This is the tutorial mission. I'm pretty sure they're just like, this is the tutorial. What if we made sure the player knew who it was right away? But still, there's a big mystery as to how and why and all that stuff, right? So anyway, just throwing that out there. All the characters are going to take a long time to figure this shit out.
Yeah, and it's and every single chapter is kind of like this, where you kind of see where it's going, but how you get there and what that implies is the real twist of it all. Where it's here we see, okay, Leon did it, but what about all these other fucking clues? What does that even mean?
Yeah. Anyway, other clues. We got a broken door frame. We already knew about this. Notably, only Makoto and Sayaka knew the door frame was broken. Also, the doorknob is broken, as if someone opened it with a screwdriver. That's weird. Now we go to the kitchen. In the knife rack, the knife is missing from the knife rack in the kitchen. It's probably the same knife that was stabbed into her. Also, Aoi Asahina, her testimony, she says, hey, the knife was in the room at one point and then gone later. The whole time I was in the kitchen drinking tea, so I could say who went into the kitchen and who didn't go into the kitchen. Trash room, we can't get in. Turns out, so the trash room, it's a room with this big metal grate. And way behind the metal grate, way at the back of the room, which you can't get through, is all the actual trash shit. So anyway, turns out Taka set up a weekly trash duty, and Hirofumi, that's the otaku, volunteered. Hirofumi had the key and was the only one able to open the big metal grate. And he says, I didn't do it. He lets you in. The incinerator is on. Fumi says, it was off before. There's a burnt shirt sleeve with blood on it next to the incinerator, as if someone tried to burn the shirt and then it fell off. It didn't get burned all the way. There's also, beneath the incinerator on-off button, there's basically a crystal ball broken into a few pieces. You find out later it was Yasuhiro's crystal ball, obviously. He's shocked to see it and says, fuck, I must have left it in the laundry room yesterday. Also, he paid $1 million for it because he thought it would give him ultimate power. The dude's fucking dumb. He's
dumb as rocks.
Finally, a few more clues. Door nameplates. What the heck? You find out that the nameplate on your room says Sayaka, and the nameplate on Sayaka's room says Makoto. So in other words, the room that Sayaka was in said Sayaka on the door, even though it was yours. And vice versa. Makoto's annoyed. He's like, this defeats the whole point of switching rooms. She wanted to switch rooms for safety, but her room says Sayaka on it. Also, you finally you decide to watch Sayaka's DVD. You're like, there's an invasion of her privacy, but she dead. It's footage of her idol group performing a concert. They're all full of life and happy. Anyway, it's essentially the same thing, but instead of just saying that they're all like, where'd they go? They're all on the floor, and Monokuma says that they all broke up. How'd the band break up? Sayaka has no band to return to. How'd it happen? Well, find out upon graduation. At this point, Makoto does realize something a little bit more world lore-y. He's like, wait, if he was able to not just, like, kidnap my parents, but, like, fucking destroy this entire amphitheater where this concert was happening and kidnap these famous idols, something crazy must be going on in the outside world. Like, a normal crazy psycho villain wouldn't be able to pull something like that off. Anyway, I had some concerns I was going to share, but I guess I deleted those for not being important. No, it was important. Oh, sorry, here they are. Here's a couple of concerns going in. How would anyone get into the room? Totally locked. When was the room cleaned? By Sayaka or by the killer? Why did someone break the doorknob if it wasn't locked? Who switched the nameplates? How did someone get into the incinerator room? Who all could have theoretically taken the knife? What was the message written on the wall by Sayaka? 11037. Such cryptographic complexity is nearly impossible to decipher. Was Sayaka secretly a CIA operator trained in information security?
Yes, definitely.
Anyway, now it's time for the trial. That's all the stuff that you learn. So then, I'm making good time. Wow, I got through that really fucking fast. We were behind, and now we're ahead, baby.
Sweet.
So, yeah. Some wonderfully dramatic music plays as you walk to the big fancy red, I think it's actually an upholstered door. That's what it looks like. There's this big fancy red door that's been locked the whole time.
It gives me Twin Peaks vibes.
Massive Twin Peaks vibes.
Yeah.
You go into the room, and now I'm getting Twin Peaks The Return vibes in this room. There's a simple little sparsely decorated room with an old-timey freight elevator. Everyone's there already. Here, you can talk to everyone before going down if you want. I accidentally clicked on the elevator instead of my wife Chihiro because she was right next to the elevator, so I didn't get to talk to her. 13 people. So, we started with 15. One has been murdered. One has been killed by the villain. 13 people descend. The courtroom looks just like a film set. The witness stands are all arranged in a circle so everyone can see each other. Begin trial. Turns out trials are fully voice acted. Kyoko notices that there are empty seats with the photos of the deceased in them and asks why. Monokuma's like, well, I'd feel bad if they were just left out because they died. Celeste then says, wait, but there's 16 seats. There's an empty seat. Why? There's only 15 of us. Monokuma's like, well, no reason. The courtroom was just made for 16. Which, given that we know how stories work, we figure is going to be important later.
Yeah.
Or, then, on the other hand, Monokuma also loves messing with us, so maybe he's just messing with us.
Celeste is like, why is there an empty seat? And Monokuma's like, oh, that's for the 16th student. Chekhov. That's Chekhov's empty seat.
So first, we start with the case overview. This is a tutorial, obviously, so they're going to be explaining how the mechanics work too. First, we learn about the non-stop debate. This is the game's core thing. I really like it. It's a lot of fun. It's like Phoenix Wright, but more exciting. All the characters talk one after the other without pause in real time. While they're talking, their statements, what they say, flows across the screen. If you see a contradiction or a falsity, either a contradiction or an outright lie, you shoot a truth bullet. All those clues I mentioned earlier, those exact wordings I used, those are all of your truth bullets. You shoot a truth bullet at the false statement to say, hold it. You don't actually say hold it. The first challenge is really simple. Chihiro says, it's so sad that the murderer surprised Papaya in the bathroom and killed her instantly. And then you shoot your bullet that says evidence of struggle. So you shoot your bullet at it, and then Makoto goes, that's wrong, which is usually his hold it line. Because the evidence of struggle proves that the person who got killed fought back. So we realize that she probably fought the killer in the main room, then tried to hide in the bathroom. Murder weapon. You establish it was the kitchen knife. So you can't bring any evidence into the trial room, but it's kind of implied that they have pictures. Because, like, in the game, like, to the player, non-diegetically, an image of the knife will appear. And they'll be like, doesn't this look like the kitchen knife? And then someone will be like, yeah, it does. So maybe they have, like, a projector with these photos on it. I don't really get it. It's a little weird. But anyway, anytime you talk about something, you might as well have it with
I think your evidence is all in your e-handbook, and so everyone can refer to it that way.
Makes sense. Because it is literally in the player's menu, which is your e-handbook.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So
if you say, look at the knife, everyone's looking at their tablets, which has a picture of the knife. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thanks, Sam. I've always thought that was a funny little narrative style discrepancy. Everything's normal, but then Leon butts in. Leon goes, look, we all know Makoto killed her. Kyoko stops that train of thought with something that's going to be an important trend going forward. Even if they all think they know who did it. Because remember, they all think he did it because it was literally in his room. Even if they think they know who did it, the trial isn't just about finding the killer. It's about finding the truth. It's about coming to understanding and closure. They need to find out how he did it, why, etc., how all the weird evidence fits in before they can be satisfied. This is going to be a recurring theme. This is, of course, very fortunate for our boy because, he fucking did it. It was in his room. The only reason they don't vote is because they're like, well, we got to figure this whole situation out before we can finish. Because once the trial's over, they'll never learn the truth. So that's what sort of what she says. Anyway, Hina testifies and says, hey, at the time the knife was taken, I was hanging in the dining hall and Makoto never went into the kitchen, so he couldn't have done it. But oh no. This is very important, okay? What if Hina was in on it too? What if they worked together? Obviously, this would be very confusing, read the rules of the game. So they ask Monokuma, yo, Monokuma, what if two people work together? He says people can cooperate, but only the person who actually did the murder gets to graduate. So there'd be no reason to do that. Why would you help someone if it just gets you killed? That's stupid. Therefore, probably nobody would ever want to collaborate with someone, but also they're dropping this plot point, so maybe it'll be important later. Chihiro, that traitorous, untrusting bitch, I can't believe I thought you were my wife, she says, wait, but we just now learned this rule. So people still could have collaborated in this murder because they didn't know that there's no reason to do that. But luckily, Monokuma gets annoyed and spills the beans. He's like, look, there's no accomplice in this case, okay? So he just tells you. So now Makoto seems to be off the hook. They briefly think that Hina did it. But it turns out Hina stayed over at Sakura's last night for the same reason as Sayaka. She was scared. Taka misgenders Sakura, but then when he's called out on it, he's like, wait, you're a girl? And then he's super fucking sorry about it, which is funny.
Yeah, he does apologize. And
yeah, he's very
cool about
he
it.
feels very sad for himself. Hina finally admits, okay, fine. Someone else did come to the dining hall. It was Sayaka. I didn't think to say it because she's fucking dead anyway. Why would I say that she came to the dining hall? So then everyone realizes that Sayaka took the knife. That's right, the victim took the knife. And if the victim took the knife, that means Makoto still could have killed her. So now everyone still thinks it's Makoto. The whole knife thing got us nowhere. Once again, Kyoko convinces everyone to chill. So at this point, the player realizes probably that Kyoko probably knows who did it already. She's basically being your tutorial guide. She's trying to show you how to be smart and solve cases, even though she probably already knows it. So anyway, you learn a new minigame, the Hangman's Gambit. It's pretty simple. Just like Hangman, like the game that we play on a whiteboard, letters appear, and you have to grab the letters that are the word it's like you're trying to think of a word, right? It's like it's on the tip of your tongue. And if you think really hard and put all the words together, you realize the word you couldn't think of. So the prompt is something should have been at
one thing that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that's really cool is this game has two different difficulty modes. It has a logic difficulty and an action difficulty.
Yes.
And so if you aren't very good at puzzles and you don't want to sit on the class trial being like, I don't see any contradiction here, what do I do? They'll give you only one truth bullet and only like 2 shootable things. So you'll probably get it before you run out of hearts. And then for the action difficulty is later on in the game, there will be like 500 things blocking your shot. But on low action difficulty, there might be like 1 thing blocking your shot. And what's great is I put both of them on super easy because, like I said on the Bill and Ted episode, I played this game the week after I went on paternity leave, and I suggested it because I thought that it would win over Phoenix Wright, so that then we'd be playing Phoenix Wright right now. But instead, we're playing the game that I literally just beat, so I'm just watching it on fast forward. So I put it on super duper easy. So when you get to the Hangman's Gambit, because my logic is on super easy, only 1 letter of the 4-letter word hair was missing.
That was the same for me.
I just had to do 1 letter
Makoto's
of Hangman,
like,
which is the easiest game of Hangman I've ever played.
Makoto's like, I know it starts with an H. Blank.
What? Hoyer, it's no, right?
It's so good.
Yeah.
And also for the logic difficulty being all the way down, the like, what should I pick prompt is like, remember the thing that was different about my door, and then the thing would be like, my door would be the thing that you have to pick. It's like super like obvious what it is, which is great because I'm not actually reading, I'm just refreshing, and so it's great that it gives me a prompt of what I'm supposed to pick because I'm just blasting.
Yeah, it's quite silly. To clarify, actually, when you're doing the truth bullets thing, this is going to happen later, but not now. There's multiple weak points in so when the characters are talking and the words are scrolling, some of the words are yellow. The yellow words are the ones that you can shoot, but there's going to be multiple yellow statements in each sort of segment. Only one of them is the right one, but also you have multiple truth bullets, so you got to match the truth bullet to the statement in a way that actually exposes the contradiction instead of just like you make an argument and they're like, that doesn't make any sense, dude. And yeah, whatever difficulty you're on, what it'll do is you have like 20 truth bullets, right? But what it'll do is it'll load up, say, 5 of them in the barrel, you might say. So it'll load up the right one, the one you need, plus 4 other random ones. So which ones it picks is random, but it's just like, oh no, I got to figure out which of these 5 it is, right? So yeah, if you have the logic difficulty lower, it only gives you like 2 options instead of like 5. Anyway, yeah. So what was the thing that wasn't at the scene? It was hair. Makoto says, if I was the culprit, why would I need to remove my own hair? It would be totally normal for there to be my hair in my room. So removing it would not be something I would do if I was the killer. That'd be stupid. Also, the doorknob was broken. I knew the door was janky. I wouldn't have needed to remove the doorknob. Makes no sense. The killer thought the door was locked, obviously. So that's why they thought they had to take off the doorknob. If they'd known that it was just a weird door, if it was me, I would have just known that.
Room.
And Sakura, or not Sakura,
Sayaka?
Sayaka, yeah. She knew that it was janky because
exactly.
Makoto told her.
Exactly. So, here's the first part I didn't totally put together. The killer, it's not just that the killer was confused because the door wouldn't open. The killer thought the door was locked. Only the girl's door's locked. So the killer thought that he was in Sayaka's room. Why did the killer think they were in Sayaka's room? Because the plaque said Sayaka on it. So the killer was also someone who didn't know they switched rooms. Now everyone realizes, at this point, it would be fucking stupid if it was Makoto. They're like, okay, fine. There's no reason any of that would have happened if you had killed her. But, well, fuck. If it wasn't her, if it wasn't you, then who the hell could it have been? But then, fucking Hina, of all people, comes through. Hina says, Bimbo's right. Also, how'd the killer get into the room? Hifumi, who is smart now, and says, maybe she just let them in. Makoto says, she was super scared and promised she'd never let anyone in, and I was protecting her, and also she's my girlfriend. Kyoko says... he's a sucker, obviously. Kyoko says, dog, your girl was lying. Your girl was lying about all that shit. Kyoko shows new evidence. Damn, Kyoko is good. Kyoko found a notebook on the desk in Makoto's room, and then she used detective magics to find out what had previously been written on the notebook. Here's a note from Sayaka. There's something I wish to talk to you about. Just us two. In 5 minutes, come see me in my room. Check the nameplates to make sure you don't get the wrong room, okay? Signed, Sayaka. First of all, very convenient clue. It's the tutorial mission. Whatever. Sayaka obviously wrote this note and gave it to someone to get them to come to her room, and of course it worked because of the switched nameplates. Makoto is really sad and confused because she realized that she'd been lying to him, which is weird, and he realizes that Sayaka must have switched the nameplates. So now they know whoever she invited over was the killer. But wait, they're stumped again. Again, Kyoko says, let's just figure out what happened in the room, man. We're searching for truth here, okay? So, there's a bunch of debating back and forth here. I'm skipping over it. Long story short, the sword sheath had scratches all over it, indicating that it had been used defensively against the only sharp object in the room, the knife. So, the attacker came at Sayaka with the knife. She grabbed the sheath sword nearby instinctively, used it for defense, and then the attacker took the sword and hit her wrists. But then the killer switched back to the knife. Taka is explaining this, and even as Taka explains it, he realizes this really doesn't make sense. Also, her palms didn't have any gold sparkle on them, so she never touched the sword. After a bunch of deductions and characters not understanding it, Makoto finally realizes Sayaka had the knife. Sayaka had the knife, could only have made the first strike against the person in the room. So here's where the big twist happens. Sayaka wasn't an innocent victim after all. This was an attempted murder by Sayaka. The whole room switching thing, she was trying to frame Makoto for it. This was all a big fucking frame-up. Makoto also doesn't explicitly realize it here, but we obviously realize that her whole innocent, you gotta protect me act, you're my knight in shining armor, the feelings of love and friendship that she was engendering towards him, in him, all made up. She played him like a goddamn fiddle. Alright? Now, this is still a weird plan, because wouldn't Makoto just have told everyone about the room switch? Like, if Sakai had succeeded, killed someone, and then said that Makoto did it. Wouldn't he have just said, we switched rooms, why are you trying to frame me? No. Byakuya says, dog, she intentionally chose you because she knew that you're a sucker. You're real nice. You had a crush on her when you were a kid. She picked you because you're a sucker. Makoto's very hurt to realize his feelings all along were all a lie. That bitch. But even worse, he discovers that discovering her betrayal doesn't even solve the case. We know she tried to frame him for a murder, but her victim turned the tables on her. But who the fuck was it? Leon chimes in and says, but there aren't any more clues, right? I guess we'll never be able to figure this out.
Yep.
Then you show them the message that she wrote, 11037, clearly the dying final message of the victim. They go on not understanding this extremely obvious clue. Obviously, it's upside down. It's Leon. To their credit, they actually don't take that long to figure it out. In my memory, this took forever, but actually, it's pretty brief time between you showing the message and everyone being like, "Oh, it's upside down." Now, the reason this upside down is because she was slumped against the wall and could barely move. She was almost dead, so she was just with her finger against the wall, just writing it real quick upside down, right? Anyway, now we get to an important gameplay moment. In every case, instead of reacting to specific stimuli or making pointed arguments, it just says, all right, here's every single character, pick who did it. Of course, this time it's pretty easy, but it can get pretty hard later on. You get to pick from every character. Oops, my finger slipped and I accidentally said it was Sayaka. Which is stupid. Anyway, so you pick Leon. At this point, Kyoko and Makoto are both really sure that he did it, but you gotta convince everyone else. Because remember, you're all gonna vote. So it's just, you gotta investigate the destruction of evidence. At this point, it's a straight shot to the end. Someone could dispose of their evidence without having the key to the incinerator because they could have thrown the broken crystal ball through the gap. Guess who's really good at throwing things? That's right. It's the guy who's good at baseball.
Boy.
The ultimate baseball boy.
Exactly. So this is pretty quick. You just proved the sequence of events. Now it's time for the final challenge, the closing argument. The closing argument is pretty fun. Basically, there's a manga.
You build a manga.
Yeah.
Super cool.
There's a manga with a bunch of empty frames, or is that what we call them? Frames? No.
Frames, yeah.
Panels.
For some
frames.
reason, I forgot the name for the square parts in a comic.
You fill in the box, Steelies.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of panels that are missing. So you fill in the missing panels. Twin Peaks: The Missing Pieces. With you fill in Twin Peaks: Missing Pieces with pictures that represent, pictures that represent what happened. And once you get the order of events right, you hit go. And then Makoto explains, and I actually like this, to make sure, maybe the player is kind of fumbling through it. Maybe you succeeded some of the challenges without totally getting this one part or this one part. Kind of like in Phoenix Wright, you're just like, what if I just present every evidence and see what happens? So at the end, Makoto, in a voiced, scene, explains, okay, here's everything that happened from beginning to end. So you do that. And everyone's like, damn, you did it. But then the actual final challenge happens, which is you confront the killer, and they always kind of freak out, and they say, no, I didn't do it. No, I didn't do it. And then you have to have kind of a verbal battle with them to basically...
I hate this part so much.
Yeah, you have to have this weird rhythm game battle. It's actually super easy, but they explain it really badly. And... it's even harder to understand on the phone, I think, because I didn't remember it being a pain in the butt, but now I'm replaying it and it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
So anyway,
on the Vita, it's real breezy because it'll be as it goes over the little Guitar Hero fret or whatever, it'll be X, 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 and then when you're pressing triangle, 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 right. And it'll streamlines the whole thing, but it being tap over here or tap the shoot button on the
phone
so makes
really
it a little wonky,
tap, right? But anyway,
yeah.
After you try it 2 or 3 times, or you ask someone in the chat to help you out a little bit because they already did it yesterday, it becomes pretty easy. So then you do it. Or you go online and look at an FAQ because you couldn't figure it out. Luckily, I didn't have to do that, although I almost did. Actually, maybe I did. I don't remember. Is this what? Am I supposed to remember something that happened yesterday? Psh, be serious. Anyway, he's saying, I didn't do it. You're saying, yes, you did. Eventually, you kind of wear down his resolve, and he's sort of defeated. And then you have to give him the final piece of evidence, which is that someone had to use a tool to remove the screws on the door. What could it have been? So then you present the evidence of your toolkit. It's funny. Why is that a clue? No one used your toolkit. Oh, that's the clue. He didn't use your toolkit. He must have used his own. So basically you're like, look, all we gotta do is go to your fucking room and check the toolkit. And of course, realizing that he's been had, he finally gives up. And you've defeated him. And he says, fine, I fucking did it, and I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids. Yep. And that is it. He gets overcome. So then Monokuma is like, all right, motherfuckers, looks like it is over. Let's all vote. So a big old button appears in front of everybody, and it's got this like crass game show aesthetic. And everyone has to hit the button on who they think did it. And presumably everyone probably votes for Leon, or at least more than 50%. And the vote results turn up, and yes, that's right. Our boy Leon, it has been voted on, and he did do it. Oh my gosh, I forgot to share a very important piece of information. I didn't share it earlier because I thought it would come up later, and then I forgot to come it up later. By the way, should have said this earlier. Here's the stakes of this. So again, he killed someone, right? If you all vote wrong, if you all vote right here, then he gets executed. He's gonna fucking die. And then you just continue with the game. If everyone votes wrong here, if they fail to find out who did it, that person goes free, and everyone else in the school gets executed. So all of their lives are on the line here. Should have mentioned that earlier. So it turns out, you guessed right, Leon did do it, and you voted that Leon did it, so he's going to die, and you all are not going to die. Also, you are awarded a score based on how you did on the minigames, and based on your score, you get a bunch of Monokuma coins. What rank did y'all get?
I got an A.
I think I got an A as well. I got an A in every segment except for one where I got a C, but I think my average was still A. So,
yeah,
and that's good because you want to be able to give presents to your dates. So anyway, turns out it was Leon. Now all the characters have a final little conversation with Leon because they're like, dude, what the fuck, you know? He says, like, dude, she attacked me. Like, it was just self-defense. And I gotta admit, I felt pretty sorry for the guy, right? But just as I was thinking in my brain, the characters are thinking as well, like, dude, like, she tried to kill you and you defended yourself, and then she ran into the bathroom. After that point, you went all the way back to your room, grabbed a screwdriver, came back, and unlocked and undid the doorknob so that you could go in and murder her. Like, that's not self-defense. Like, that is murder.
You still did a murder.
Yeah. You still did a murder.
That's officially police officer self-defense.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. If it had been like in a fit of passion, she comes at him, he goes back at her, and now she's dead. Yeah, but like, he clearly took it from that to he saw his shot, he saw his chance to murder someone, and he took it, right? I forgot to actually do the closing argument. Whatever. This is not a very complicated case. I'm sure you listeners understand the sequence of events, basically. Although in the future, we should make sure to clearly do the closing argument, since they get real complicated.
Yes, they really do.
They really, really do. So,
especially Case 4 is fucking bonkers.
Christ almighty.
We definitely need it.
They get so goddamn complicated. So anyway, then they all realize the truth. Makoto has some stupid-ass dialogue where he's like, man, I wish that we'd been wrong, because the truth is that Sayako is trying to frame me. So he feels so bad that he feels so hurt, right? But then he goes, even if that's true, I can't say she was wrong. And I'm like, you are such a sucker. You're like making excuses for this person who is objectively terrible. Wait a second, I'm really relating to that. Whoops, let's just move on right past that. I have a problem with making excuses for people when they're doing bad behavior. I always believe the best in people, and sometimes I believe the best in people a bit too hard.
Same.
Anyway, but he does realize something. He's like, look, like, he is a sucker here, but what he's saying is not wrong. He's like, it's not Leon's fault. It's not Sayaka's fault. It's not my fault for being a sucker. The enemy is Monokuma. He's the one making us do this. Mm-hmm. He's the person behind all of this. Like, we can't hate each other too much, you know, which I think is cool. He remembers that she freaked the fuck out earlier and that she clearly just had to get out at all costs because of blah, 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 blah. She was worried about her friends, whatever. She was still trying to kill somebody. He then muses on the idea that he wishes he could just talk to her and get her side of it. And well, he really wants to know why she really did it. But once someone's dead, they're dead. And that's a thing that's going to be hit a lot too. People have complexities and nuances, but once they're dead, you'll never know. Let's see. Mm-hmm. At that point, a bunch more shenanigans happens, and then eventually Monokuma says, all right, time for the punishment. Everyone gets a unique execution. Sam made a very, very clever pun earlier in this episode. Leon's punishment is that he gets dragged by a big chain. Oh, so this punishment's called the 1,000 blows, which I'm pretty sure is a reference to a movie, right? Isn't that a fucking
It feels like a
That's
movie.
a movie by oh my god, the famous Japanese director that I'm a big fan of. You know, Seven Samurai guy.
Akira
Kurosawa.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I think that's a Kurosawa film. I haven't seen it though. Anyway, the 1,000 blows. So basically, a giant chain. And these are very high.
Yes.
These are like the
Akira
highest.
Kurosawa.
Nice. I know the names of movies I haven't seen. These are very high budget, by the way. Like, there's a lot of graphics behind these execution scenes, even though they're very grisly. So a chain.
Drained the fuck out of my iPhone too.
What's that, Sam?
Actually, the movie is a French new wave drama film. I was going to bring it up later, but since we're talking about it now, Danganronpa is incredibly film literate, and there are so many film references constantly.
There's a ton, yeah.
And it's not just like, super obvious things like pop culture. It's like the 400 Blows is a 1959 French new wave drama film and is the directorial debut of Francois Truffaut. So it's like,
I haven't seen
it shit.
Yep.
It's like
it's the kind of films I'm always making references to, and Sam doesn't get them.
Yes. It's all the kind of films that I should have seen before getting my film degree, and I did not see a single one of them before getting my film degree.
It's okay though, because you watched It's okay though, because you watched the Kevin Smith films like 10 times each.
Yeah, that's what counts.
Anyway, yeah, there's lots about culture references in this whole thing, and it's not like it's not that dumb thing where the localizers put in a fucking meme. It's like, no, they're constantly name dropping things. There's a really obscure reference to Dragon Quest IV in this episode, which is neat. There's not any references to novels this time around, but there are. Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of influences here. Anyway, I haven't seen the 400 Blows. So anyway, he gets dragged into a thing, and a lot of shenanigans happens, and then he ends up getting essentially tied to a stake, and then a baseball pitcher machine shows up, a whole bunch of them, and it starts pelting him with baseballs. Basically, he's getting stoned with baseballs. But then the baseball machine...
It's not a whole bunch of them. It's one of them that's a Gatling gun.
That's right. Yeah. So
it's a Gatling gun pitching machine.
So the pace increases, and now it's just shooting him with thousands and thousands and thousands of basketballs at lightning speed. And it just keeps... Did I say basketballs?
You
nope,
sure did.
They're baseballs. Shut the fuck up.
Don't.
Anyway, it just keeps doing that until he's a bloody pulp. So that's his ironic, thematically appropriate execution scene. Everyone freaks the fuck out.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory death.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Need some Oompa Loompas to come in and sing at him.
They're all very traumatized. They all very much hate this. They're all very mad at Monokuma. and they ask why did Monokuma do this, and he's like, I don't understand the question and I won't respond to it. And then he says, and then he just reiterates. He says, "Look, fine, then don't kill each other and live here forever. Fuck you, or kill each other. Fuck you. Like, just fucking do it." And everyone gets madder and madder and madder as they sort of are mired in horror and despair of the grim reality of all of this. At one point, he does say something interesting. He says, "Oh, sorry, this is before the punishment. Sorry, I must have skipped ahead." He says, "Let's do the punishment. That's what everyone is waiting for." And Kyoko's like, "What do you mean, everyone?" And he's like, "Anyway," and he ignores her question. Because he can, right? He doesn't have to answer anything like that. Afterward, everyone is sad. They talk about the dying message. The only important plot point here is that Kyoko does give you a little pep talk. She says, "Look, man, the reason I didn't just say who did it at the beginning, and the reason that I've been helping you out, is because I think that she basically says that I think you're a hero. She says, I think that you have something that the others don't. I think that you have grit. I think that you have inner sort of just inner spiritual strength that can really help the rest of us get through this. So you really need to keep your chin up, be the leader, help us all get through this. Also, you got to just move on."
Yeah, it kind of has an air of like, the true enemy is Monokuma. If I would have shown up and been like, Leon did it and presented my case, everyone would have been like, "Oh yeah, cool, whatever." But like, coming from you, it can kind of be like okay, Monokuma made us do this. Let's team up together and focus on that. So we will stop killing each other and just focus on trying to take down Monokuma.
Exactly.
And it's cool.
Also, she says you got to just move on and be strong. And Makoto gives an interesting little speech where he says, "I'm not going to just move past them. I'm going to carry them with me, the dead, for the rest of my life. How could I just move past something like that? I'll carry their memories with me." Kyoko says, "Okay, you're picking the hard mode or the hard road. Well, I have high expectations for you." And that's the end of the chapter. Everyone's just real fucked up. Everyone's real upset. And the game reminds us that we started with 15 people, and now there are 12 surviving. So I'm sure you can understand that every chapter we're going to have at least 2 people dying, at least one person getting murdered, and at least one person killing them. So this number is going to go down real fast. So
real fast.
That's it for the week. Thank you for listening to my very fast blast through this, because we had all that prologue shit to get through. But that's how the game's going to work. Next time we're going to hang out with our friends, we're going to hang out with our girlfriends, we're going to hang out with Chihiro, then someone's going to die, then we're going to investigate it, then we're going to have a trial. Moments. Eli, you first.
So my memorable moments are kind of broad. I like the stylistic choices in this. I find them kind of weird at times. Like, all the blood is hot pink.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
Which is, I was like, that can't be a censorship decision because fucking Mondo is constantly throwing out the fuck word. Like, that threw me for a loop at first. I was like, oh, this is a mature game for mature people. I guess the weird teddy bear should have tipped me off to that at the start. But it's got a lot of interesting art choices.
So
there's a bunch of it that reminds me of like Terry Gilliam kind of stuff, and an anime that I won't mention because if I mention it, it's going to give major spoilers, and it's a really good anime, and I would recommend watching it.
Thank you. Is it DanganRonpa the anime? Just kidding.
Yes.
Have you already seen this whole anime and you're just pretending to be surprised?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty funny. Good bit, Eli.
Thank you. What were you going to say, Sam?
So the blood being pink as a stylistic choice led me down a like crazy like Charlie Day yarn on the wall conspiracy theory for like this last half of the game, so much that Maddie had to stop and be like, I've played all 4 games, you're wrong, it's just a weird thing because some red blood shows up. And I'm like, okay, we're all robots, that's why our blood is pink. Nothing is real, everything is fake. And Maddie's like, shh, just shut up.
This game has enough actual mystery.
They just forgot.
To
they forgot that blood.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Wow.
just FYI, this game did originally come out. I said there was a long gap between its original release and its localization. It originally came out on PSP, but by the time it got localized, it had already been re-released with lots of improvements on the Vita. So maybe the original version was censored, not like censored from Japan to America, but just like the actual original game. They, for ratings reasons, didn't want to give it red blood, and then eventually they're just like, well, this is the thing now. This is it's cool, it's weird, it's shocking, it's who knows?
Huh. Interesting. And then there's just a lot of different things like Monokuma has a couple of different meanings that you could give it, because it's a monotone colored bear, being black and white, but also mono in Japanese means thing, so it could easily just mean bear thing.
Which is Kuma mean bear?
Yes, Kuma means bear.
I like that.
Yeah. And it's like the game is like a weird combination of like Phoenix Wright with really high stakes. Oh shoot, what else was I thinking? Fuck. It's Phoenix Wright with really high stakes. Oh, Saw, and Battle Royale. Not like the game concept of Battle Royales, but the original story Battle Royale, where a bunch of students. Yeah. It's like the precursor to Hunger Games, basically, or where Hunger Games got its inspiration. And I really like that. I like dark, gritty, weird stuff. So this game is really speaking to me. I just wish I had gotten started on it earlier, but I'm a terrible procrastinator. So, but yeah, those are my memorable moments so far.
Nice. So I was, like I said a second ago, I was watching on fast forwards. I don't have a lot of memorable moments. I was looking through my screenshots to see the few that I grabbed, and apparently I had taken some that were so memorable to me. I took a screenshot of it when I wasn't planning on playing this game for the podcast. But when you first walk in to see Sayaka's body, Makoto's narration says, It took me several seconds to realize that I was screaming, which is really good. I like it. I like that a lot. I also love there's a super small detail, but the first pitch that kills Leon hits him right in the ball sack, and it's just like it's like there are thousands of pitches, but the first one like shoots out and then waits and just like nabs him in the balls, and it's like and then proceeds to kill him, and it's just great.
Now I'm imagining the Truffaut film being like the 400 blows, parentheses, the first one is in the balls.
I also took Sakura on 3 dates because she's great, and she like definitely develops as great later. So the fact that I'm saying she's great is a slight spoiler to a character being good in a game that is good, so not a real spoiler. But she's magnificent. So I took her on 3 dates, and she said, "From the day I was born, I've been fighting. Heaven sent me to live as its champion. I don't want to just be the best in competitions. I want to be the strongest human on earth." And I love her because I believe all of that. Like, I believe she literally is an angel, and also she literally is the strongest person on earth. And it's really good. There was another one I was thinking of just a second ago, and I can't remember it. It might come to me. Maddie, what are yours?
Just a couple. Let's see. At one point, when what's her ass, when Junko gets the bejesus murdered out of her, she's just in the middle of the fucking gym, impaled on things and dead, and everyone leaves to go investigate the murder. The other murder, of course. And you can talk with people. There's a lot of scenes in this game where you can optionally just talk to people, and there's a lot of optional dialogue, and I tend to read most of it. Chihiro stays behind, and she's just like, I have to stay with her. Even though she's like dead, it feels wrong to just leave her all alone like this. I need to stay with this body for a bit, just to honor, give it the honor it deserves by not just being fucking ditched. And anyway, I love her. I love Chihiro. At one point,
I remember what it was. Speaking of the gym, reminded me of it. So the whole investigation, Hiro stays in there with Chihiro, and Hiro just fucking is dumb as rocks. And his voiced lines in the class trials are always amazing, because everyone will be like, oh, okay, so it's pretty obvious that Leon did it, right? And Hiro will be like, what? I thought it was like a fucking goldfish or some bullshit. Like, it's always just the dumbest, I don't understand the basic words coming out of your mouth ass.
He is
class
of
trial
no
words,
use to anybody.
And he's great.
Spoiler alert, that does not stop happening.
He is so dumb. Yeah. I love him.
Hina, at one point early in the game, when everyone's like, let's all split up and go search for clues, you talk to Hina at some point in the kitchen, or in the dining room, and she goes, oh, I'm just taking a break. Actually, I've been taking a break since we started. At one point you talk to fucking Hifumi, and you accuse him of being like a fucking perv, and he goes, after spending a significant, he's like, no, I would never like sniff someone's panties or do something disgusting to a human, creepy to a girl, because after spending a significant amount of time comparing 2D and 3D, I voluntarily chose 2D. And I'm like, sure you did, buddy. Sure you did. He's an incel who thinks he's a volcel.
Yes.
Also at one point, I did not get the context for this, unfortunately. Oh, right. Actually, I remember. You're talking about the crystal ball, right? With Hifumi. And he's like, oh, it's a crystal ball. People use that for, telling the future. Just like that Mina girl who was on that quest to find that one guy. That's Dragon Quest IV. Mina is a character from Dragon Quest IV. She has a crystal ball. I thought it was cool. It's actually, unless you know the name Mina, that's a pretty subtle reference, right? Kind of annoyed that the Dragon Quest character referencing character is Hifumi, because I hate him and I don't want to think that I have something in common with him.
Oh, I hate him so bad.
He's like, even despite what he said about preferring 2D to 3D, he very much comes off like a fucking sexual predator at all times. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Other ones, important thematic line. Monokuma says, compassion, intimacy, love, the stronger those feelings are, the stronger the despair will be when they collapse. And he also says a few more times, like, oh, I was just getting your hopes up so that you'd be in despair once I crushed them. That's the theme. And that's it. I have some more general thoughts about some things about the game that I like in general, but I can mention those next week. Oh, wait, sorry. I do have one more. Sorry. This one was on my notes, not on my phone. Taka, at one point, if you recall, he's the class president guy. At one point, right at the beginning of the trial, they're like, all right, let's start the trial. He goes, okay, whoever did it, raise your hand. And everyone's like, you thought that was going to work, didn't you? He's like, hey, it's worth a shot. Anyway,
everything's worth a shot.
Anyway, Sam, go on.
Okay. So I have these three. They're marked. They're from the first time I played, and they're marked as Chapter 2, but I think they're all from dates. So if I slightly spoil jokes from Chapter 2, I apologize. Sure. I just think that they're from dates. But one is with Mondo, and I don't remember the context, but he goes, hey, bro, what you just said, that was cool as shit. I should get a tattoo of it.
Aww.
Which is... which is great. I fucking love that. And then the other one I took a picture of is on a date with Hina, and she's talking about all of her favorite things. And she says, glazed donuts, twisty donuts, jelly donuts, cream-filled donuts, donut holes. I can't tell what that last one says. The Vita, for some reason, old screenshots, it only saves them in low res, so I can't actually see what that says. But yeah, she's like, all my favorite things are all the different kinds of donuts, and I just fucking love it. She's the best.
I said that.
Yeah, those are the last ones I had.
Real quick, I want to keep track of this. You said you went on dates with Sakura this time. I went on dates with Chihiro, and I won't share what happens in them. She's a sweetie, but nothing that interesting happened in the one date I went on with her. I want to ask Eli, who did you hang out with?
I hung out with Sayaka twice. I don't know why. Like, I probably speak enough Japanese that I should be able to keep these people straight, but I can't. I went with Sayaka twice, and I went with Hina once.
Nice. Anything interesting happened in the Sayaka date?
Not particularly. I was gonna say. So I spent 4 of my Monokuma coins because I didn't know that. Like, I thought if I spent 4 Monokuma coins at once, it would give me 4 prizes. No, it gave me 1 prize. It gave me a thong. And it was the only present I had. So it was like, do you want to give a present to Hina? And I'm like, sure, she can have this thong. Its flavor text said something like, for better or worse, it's unisex. And so I gave it to her, and she was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. And it was like, it looks like maybe she doesn't like you as much now. Just like, well, all right.
The good news I will say, they are not subtle about the gifts. If you think you don't have any gifts that someone will like, don't try to stretch it, right? So Chihiro, she's a computer programmer. You want to get her computer shit. Don't be like, oh, this is a sci-fi movie. People who program often like sci-fi movies. Or, oh, these are cute. I tried to give her cat ears, and I was like, she's literally a cute programmer girl. She might like some cat ears. Like, it's literally that character from, like, fucking Futaba from Persona 5, right? But no. Like, if you don't have something that seems like it's obviously for them, then don't give them something else. I'll just give you that.
And also make peace with the fact that Junko has 3 social links, and Sayaka has 3 social links. They both die after the 3rd free time.
It's not possible.
It is not possible to get all of them. So make peace with that. There's a new game plus where you can go back and get them all.
Yeah, there's a second game mode where you're all
Don't worry
in the
about
school.
it right now.
In the second game mode, which I haven't played, you're all in the school, and nothing bad happens. And you just get to hang out in the school and talk with your friends and not do murders. And that sounds like a fun mode, but I've never played it. So yeah, that's how that works. So no, you're not going to complete these social links. They're going to die and you're going to be sad. Deal with it.
Yeah. Also, Eli, you said that you spent 2 with Sayaka. A memorable moment of mine is the fact that the game narratively and gameplay railroads you into hanging out with Sayaka so that you as the player start to think that Sayaka is your girlfriend to twist the knife a little harder.
Yeah.
The first free time, you have to hang with Sayaka. Everybody else says that they're busy. The only person that lets you hang out with is Sayaka, which is really cool. You probably don't go and try all 15 other people unless you're me and don't want to hang with Sayaka because she's a backstabbing murderer.
I tried a couple and then I was like, oh, I see what's going on here.
Yeah, there's a grid. Don't go look for this grid, Eli. Don't min-max your social links. It's okay. It's impossible. Don't look it up. It is filled with spoilers. But there's a grid that says who's available at what point, and on the first free time slot, everybody is X'd out except for Sayaka, which I think is pretty cool because it's the game. Because the fact that I didn't notice it my first time playing, I just wanted to hang out with the pretty girl. I think is really cool. But yeah, that's will about do it for the week, unless you had any final ones, Maddie.
No, I'm fucking great.
Yeah. So that'll do it for the week. Next week we will play Till the Luna at the end of Case 2. Case 2 is my favorite case, so I'm real excited to talk about it. We will have less like prologue-y plot type stuff, so we'll probably like talk about the little bit that happens before somebody dies, lay out the clues like we did this time, talk through the class trial. It'll be a faster episode. It'll be cleaner. We also won't have coming up on 11 fucking technical difficulties like we did today, and things will go a lot smoother. But yeah, we're playing Case 2 next week. If you like what we do here, you should check us out online at www.rpgbook.club, which has a link to our Ko-Fi if you want to donate some money to us. If you want to donate money to us, you should instead go to blacklivesmatter.carrd.co, which has a whole bunch of links to petitions and places that could use your money more than us right now.
Hell yeah.
So do that. That's real cool. There's also the Itch.io bundle that'll give you like fucking, it's up to like 1,700 fucking games for $5 right now.
Yeah, it's
if you haven't got that, you should do that. And there are a lot of really fucking good games in there, and it goes to a great cause. So do all of that. For RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I am Maddie Grace Webben.
Be excellent
to each other and party on, dudes.
Toodaloo, nerds.